Good morning, fags and faggots. A few years ago, I made a video titled My TV Show Pitch, where I gave you a pitch for a television comedy sitcom idea that I had, which I thought was a very good idea, and I still think it's a very good idea, and I hope somebody makes it someday. I thought of another thing. Another pitch, but this time it's not a television show, it's a video game. This video game would be the official video game tie-in to the TV game show The Price is Right with Drew Carey. You pop in the game and then it gives you a single player or multiplayer option, just like any, one of these game shows shovelware games. And then you start playing it, and it plays at first, much like any shovelware game show video game. You are a contestant playing the Price is Right game. You have to guess what the price of the item is closest without going over, and Drew Carey is there hosting it. But what's gonna be immediately noticeable about it is that it'll have a it won't look like a standard shovelware game. The graphics will be a lot more detailed. It'll be, full 3D, like Grand Theft Auto kind of graphics. Instead of being a kind of menu format made to make playing the game very effective, it'll be more of, it'll render the whole scene like you see actually on the TV show, but you're still playing the game. You're playing The Price is Right. And then at the end of the game, you either win or you lose. And it doesn't matter if you win or lose, because then you see what the game is really about. Because you get a cutscene where, the game show ends, and then Drew Carey goes backstage, and then you become Drew Carey. Now, Drew Carey is the character that you're playing as, and you get to move him around like you're in Grand Theft Auto or something like that. And this is when you realize that the Price is Right video game, it's not actually about you playing The Price is Right. It's about you playing a fictionalized version of Drew Carey and going about his life. And it's going to be like kind of a gritty thriller game. And so the way I have it envisioned, it'll be a story that's told where your decisions make an impact on the story, and it'll have 3 possible endings. You get to decide what path Drew Carey goes on in his life as he navigates 3 life problems that are going on with him. Problem 1 is his marriage. And so I'd have the idea I have is that you, as Drew Carey is having an extramarital affair. But also Drew Carey's wife is having an extramarital affair. And so this story thread will follow Drew Carey trying to uncover clues about his wife's extramarital affair, trying to figure out who it is and whatnot, and also trying to keep his affair secret from his wife. So that's story thread 1. Story thread 2 is Drew Carey is getting blackmailed. So somebody caught him at some underground party or something, doing something naughty, like in a bad situation. I don't know, maybe he's on Epstein's Island, I don't know. But somebody has dirt on him. Somebody knows that he's been up to no good, and he's blackmailing him. And so that'll be a whole other story thread trying to resolve that. What do you do? How do you deal with this blackmailer? How does that story resolve? Story thread 3 will be about the sort of TV executives starting to worry that Drew Carey isn't bringing in enough viewers to the show. He's not as likable as Bob Barker was, and so they think maybe since ratings are going down, they need to replace him with a younger, more, I don't know, DEI host. And so Drew Carey has to try to stop this deal from going down. He has to stop this new host from taking over because he wants to stay as the host of The Price is Right. So those are my 3 ideas for story threads that could be in this game. Those are just like throwaway ideas. It could be anything. But the point is to have it be this sort of gritty thriller where Drew Carey has this sort of morally gray life under the surface, and he has all these secrets, and you're sort of, as you play the game, you find out more about this character. And there would be dialogue boxes. That's how a lot of the game will be played. The choices you make, it'll give you like, choose your own adventure options. But there'll also be little mini games that you have to do. For instance, The Price is Right game, I imagine that, the game, like, he hosts the game several times during the story, and every time he hosts the game, you have to play it again. And once again, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, because it's not really about that. The points don't matter. But that's one of the mini games I would have. I would have other mini games like detective work mini games, like when you're trying to uncover stuff, sleuthing around, like little things to add into the gameplay here or there to keep it feeling interesting and give you new challenges. And I guess the overall theme of the game would be like, is the price right? Every decision you make, you're paying a price for it. You are sacrificing one thing in order to accomplish something else. And so you watch as this character kind of is slowly losing his grip on his life as the choices he's making and the situations he's put in are kind of constricting him more, and he's getting more and more stressed out. And I think each time he hosts the Price is Right game show, you see more of that anxiety coming through him. I think this idea was partly inspired by that movie and book, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, about Chuck Barris, the host of The Gong Show, because that's another story about a game show host who has this kind of secret, sort of morally gray life under the surface. And the way I would advertise this game, I would have it be a little bit like, it at first appears to be a shovelware game. It appears to be just, this is The Price is Right, the video game. And so like on the box, it would look like that, it would have Drew Carey smiling on the front. But then there would be little clues, little things that just aren't quite right. There's something going on in the background of the box art, and if you look really close, you can see like, that doesn't look like it's supposed to be there. It'll be rated M for mature, and you'll be like, wait a minute, huh? An M-rated Price of Right video game, and then you'd see like rated M for drugs and sexual content and swearing. It's like, what's that about? Little things to tip you off. The trailer would look like it's just a trailer for a normal Price is Right video game, and then at the end there would be just a little sting of something else to let you know, oh, there's more here than meets the eye. Really, I would make the marketing of the game mimic the experience of playing the game in that way, that at first you feel like you're getting into one thing, but something's not right, and then you find out that you're in for a wholly different experience. I would want Drew Carey himself to get involved with it and play himself in the game. I think he probably would. I think if you pitched this to Drew Carey, he would probably say yes, because it's a great idea. And it would be a totally fictionalized version of him, so like his wife in the game would be a totally different character from his wife in real life. Like nothing about his life in the game would resemble his life in real life. The only problem would be be getting the approval of the people who own the IP for The Price is Right. They probably wouldn't be too into the idea. And so to get around that, you could do a different sort of thing where it's like a Price is Right clone, like a parody version that's mimicking The Price is Right, but it still has Drew Carey. And it doesn't have to be Drew Carey, it's just Drew Carey is the person I imagine being in this game. It could be anything. It could be like a totally fictional game show with a different celebrity. I don't know, I do like the idea of it being a real person though. Like, I think, like, being John Malkovich, that movie wouldn't have worked as well if it weren't about a real actor, John Malkovich. Like, the script would still be good and it would be a fun movie, but it adds a lot more when it's a real person playing a fictional version of himself. That's what I would want for this. And I think Drew Carey would just be the perfect one. Like, he's who I have in my imagination thinking of it. But I think, I don't know, I think he would enjoy playing a morally gray kind of fictional version of himself. I think, especially if the writing is good, it would be an interesting project for someone like this to consider, and that's why I think it would probably work. I would want, you know, suspense and anxiety to be the prevailing kind of feelings of this game. It's always going to feel like you're on the edge, that your life is falling apart and you're just barely keeping it together. Kind of like Uncut Gems. I would want that sort of tone through the game. I would play it.